People around the world know that just solving one, let alone two of these at a more difficult level is extremely difficult, let alone trying to tell a story with it. But I know that as dyslexics, we're great with patterns and we're great with storytelling. So I'm wondering if our function of multitasking applies here as I try to solve this while telling you guys a story. And for those who don't know me, I'm Coach Willie Blake. I'm a speaker, coach, and advocate for dyslexics. And I know since the first grade when I was first diagnosed, I have found it a negative thing in my entire life. And this YouTube channel was built to be able to bring the positive side, the tips and tricks to be able to help individuals who have dyslexia thrive more in their professional and personal life and bring a little bit more fun into it. All right, let's start with the first one. I'm just gonna start mixing it as I'm talking to you. I've only been able to do this under a minute a single time. I hit 58 seconds and then kind of stopped for a while and then started doing it again. For this, I don't think I'm gonna jump into a story. I think I'm just gonna start off with naming all 50 states in the US because it's a song I learned in the 6th grade, and I think that just as like the easy level of doing a Rubik's Cube while doing it, I'll just kind of sing it and we'll see where it goes. Okay, so we'll hit the timer. Boom, timer. I don't know, maybe I'll put a timer right here. But let's start it. So Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas. I might need to slow this down a little bit. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia. I hope I don't get copyrighted. California, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, as I try to remember where I was at. Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, going a little slower because I know where I'm at here and I'm not even to the best part yet. Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, and Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico. Shout out to New Mexico. That's where my wife went for a couple years on a religious mission. Mexico, North Carolina, North Dakota. I think I messed up on my states where I was at. That's okay, because we're trying to do this while talking and dyslexic. Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan. Yep, I'm going back over some. Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming. Boom! Solved the Rubik's Cube. Man, that was crazy. And you guys have watched it. There are some times where I'm just like, oh, I don't know where in the middle of this I am, and you lose your train of thought. But that's still incredible to be able to do two things at once. And I found this with dyslexics, that you're able to do multitasking things well. And especially when it's in patterns, because I've done this so many times that it's really just come back to memory. And the 50 State song, I remember it since I was in the 6th grade. That was years and years ago. And so it's very interesting that patterns that we have set are easier to do for dyslexics. Now we're going to jump into this behemoth. And before we jump into that, if you guys have stayed till this long in the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, because I'm continually bringing fun, exciting tips and tricks to dyslexics, because we know that as a society we need to find a community like this where we can all come closer, be able to find things that is usually seen as negative in a community of dyslexics, find things that are positive about it. And there are so many things out there, and it's just great to build this community. So make sure you hit that subscribe button as we go into the next Rubik's Cube. All right, let's jump into this one, and I'll mix it while I'm talking. This one is a lot more complicated. Obviously, as you can see, it's the gold Rubik's Cube. Shout out to my brother for letting me use it, I guess borrow it. I didn't even ask him. I grabbed it from my parents' house. Thanks, James, for letting me borrow it. And a little bit more complicated than the other one. And for this one, I want to tell you guys my story about how I started with dyslexia, but then also 5 steps that can help you to be able to achieve a goal. Because this isn't just about information with dyslexia. This isn't just about my story with it. This is about helping individuals also have the tips and tricks to be able to move forward. So in my years from going from someone who was dyslexic to an individual who has become best-selling author, an award-winning speaker on stage, and then also has a coaching business specifically for dyslexic entrepreneurs and professionals, I have overcome my dyslexia. Overcome being a strong word. I have been able to adapt to my dyslexia and use the strengths that it has to be able to achieve many things. And I broke it down into the simple of simple things. 5 steps came out. And I want to share that with you guys. So without further ado, mix it up and let's get started. So, diagnosed with dyslexia in the 1st grade, and throughout, all elementary school, all middle and high school, I was just the different kid. Like in elementary school, my what I thought were friends, they thought that it was like cooties to where it was contagious, which dyslexia is not contagious that way. During middle school, like I was hitting up the repercussions of the middle of my elementary school friends teasing me about it. So in middle school, I was lonely. And in high school, I had friends, but I remember I'd be sitting at lunch, and afterwards we'd be walking to class, and we'd hit this door, and all my friends would be walking to the door. And I had to stand outside because that was the honors class. And I was not smart enough to be in there, or at least had the capability to be in there. And so throughout elementary school, middle and high school, and even into college, I had this thing in my mind that was just like, I am dumber than the rest of the people. And it wasn't until I got into college to where I had this thought. It wasn't a thought that I had before, but it was, what if I could do more? As a dyslexic, what if I can do more? What if what society has told me all of these years is actually wrong? And so I started to challenge it. I started to challenge my ability to read. I started reading things that I liked, and I found that when I read things that I liked, I was able to read faster. And then I wanted to actually write stuff because the creative side of me, just this urge to create, was coming out of me. And so I started to write some books, and I started to write my own book. And then I got into some collaborative books with other people. And we were able to hit the bestsellers list. And so these things of just like, I thought dyslexia meant that I could never achieve anything in life and that it was always going to be a disadvantage, actually turned into being a great advantage for me. Because let alone from multitasking and being able to talk while doing stuff, I was also able to there we go. I was also able to realize I had better perspective, out of the box thinking, being able to do things that other people weren't able to do. And it was just like this incredible, I'll hold it up here so you guys can see it as I go through it. All these different things that I thought held me back. I'm like, yeah, of course I have difficulty with reading and such, but actually I have a lot of advantages. Out of the box thinking, being creative and such. And so as I went through it, I started using those advantages. And what I said, those 5 steps came out because we are also simplistic minds. We're able to create things simply because our entire life we've had to explain to people our thought process and how we think, because we simply just think differently than other people. And so that was the first step, which I didn't say we were jumping in the first step. So the first step was belief and mindset. When you have the belief, when you have the mindset that you can do something more, that there's more out there, and that the thing that you've been thinking is your biggest struggle your entire life is actually a superpower and an advantage to you, you have a different way that you walk. You gain more confidence, you feel more of yourself, and the creative side and the loving side that you have, it shows out more. And so having that belief, and not just a positive mindset, but a mindset that you can achieve things, helps out a lot. Second thing is, once you have that belief and once you have that mindset, start telling the universe what you want. Like, what is your dream? What is your desire? What is that thing that you were wanting? Because if you know what you want and you have that desire, then you can start moving forward. And you move forward into being a GPS. So the second one is being a GPS, where it's not an acronym. It's just like the Maps app on your phone, where if you know where you're going and you know where you're at, then you can know the direction you need to head. And of course, I'm rambling on because I'm trying to do this while thinking, but we're still doing it. Once you know that, then what you can do is reverse engineer the goal, which is take that goal, whatever that end finish line is, whatever that thing that you're going for, that goal, that dream that you have, start at the end. And just like a kid's map on a restaurant table where you work your way backwards, start there and figure out the milestones that you need to hit to work yourself backwards to then get to where you want to go. So first, you're able to change your mindset and change your belief. Second, you're able to be like a map and figure out the direction that you need to head. Third, you create the blueprint and plan. And then fourth is take consistent action every single day. Sometimes we overcomplicate it, and I think that's why in school, as I complete this, look at that, completed. But as I complete this, I want to still give you the 5 steps. So maybe I'll solve this one again while doing it. It's that consistently, it's the small things, and we get this perfectionism mindset. We get this overthinking that we have to do something, that it has to work out in the perfect way, or else we can't do it at all. That harms us and that hurts us. And so what we need to do instead is be able to do things small every single day. LeBron James didn't get to where he was at by simply winning a few big games. He got there by every single day dribbling the ball and practicing. Just like Gordon Ramsay, he worked for 20 years as a chef, not in his own restaurant, but in someone else's, learning the skills, learning the things to be able to get to the fame that he has today and all the goodness gracious, Gordon has a bunch of shows. And so for you, whatever that goal is and the dream has, just do a little bit of action. Just take a little bit of consistent action every day to be able to get to where you want. If it's being able to read 12 books in a year, a book a month, start with reading just 10 pages a day. Might take you 30 minutes or an hour like it did me when I started, but you'll get there. If you want to be able to get a better body and work out, start by drinking a little bit more water, eating a little bit less calories, and doing like a push-up a day. Like sometimes people overthink it. A push-up a day might be where you need to start, but just simply start with something to be able to get to where you want. And then lastly, which is, as we go over, number 1, mindset and belief. 2, being able to know where you are and where you want to go, set a goal for yourself. 3, figure out have the plan that you want. 4, take consistent action for it. And then 5, super simple, is every single day or every single week, adjust and adapt. Just like as you drive a car, you don't start with your car pointing a single direction and you get to your destination. You start by actually driving and then correcting your course. So put your foot on the gas, then you can start correcting the course. And that's step 5, being able to adjust and adapt. And as you do those 5 things, you'll see that through small, consistent things, you're going to be able to achieve the goals that you want. And just like I did with becoming an author, with becoming a coach for dyslexics, with becoming a speaker on stage where I share my stories and talk to you guys just like this, but without a Rubik's Cube. Actually, that might be a good idea, talking with a Rubik's Cube. Then you can, just like I did that for myself, you can do the same for your goal. So I want you to think about what your goal is that you want. I want you to think about where in those 5 steps you are yourself, and then move. Start putting your foot on the gas pedal. Start moving towards what you want, because your dream is valid. Your dream is something worth pursuing. And we don't hear that a lot as dyslexics. We always hear that we're always going to be left behind, that we're always going to not be ahead of people, that it's always going to be a hindrance that we have. But that's just not true. Because as we move forward with what we want in our dreams, and as we continue to take small daily actions to get there, hard work always beats lazy talent. And I've seen that time and time again. When it comes to hard work, always beats lazy talent. So continue towards your dreams, continue to move for what you want, and you will be surprised. You'll be surprised in the things that you can do. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Me playing with Rubik's Cubes and telling you guys about Dyslexics and the 5 steps to be able to go with it. I am physically trying to tell you that it is possible for you to achieve what you want. And as you just simply practice every single day, that you're going to be able to get to where you want to go. I believe in you. The dyslexic community here believes in you, and you are a dyslexic achiever. So start picking up the things that you want, start putting your foot on the gas, and start achieving the things that you want. I'd love to hear from each of you. What is something that you've seen with your dyslexia that has been amazing? Go ahead and drop that in the comments below. Can't wait to hear about it. And as always, hit that subscribe button, go after your goal, and we'll see you on the next one.